'Tis the season to be jolly, tra la 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 la. No idea what episode we're at. 74?
Sounds right. 74 will do.
We're speculating that is episode 74 of the Coop and Duck podcast. I'm joined with Duck.
Hi.
And our very special friend, who's just recovered from jet lag, has travelled all the way over from Manila just to see this match and also to visit his family at Christmas, but that's coincidental. Frank MacInnes, hi.
Cheers. Thank you for welcoming me on.
So Frank, it's exactly the same team that lost against Leeds last weekend. Are you surprised at that?
A little bit. I think it's twice now that Teti and Tribal have been on the bench. I would expect that. I know that Vrancic has improved his performance, and people were saying that his first half last week was really good. His best,
really passable.
His best half of football all season. But again, I think if you look back to the stretch of games where we went unbeaten and we were winning, all right, like you said, we were winning 1-0, but we were solid, and that was because we had Teti and Tribal in the middle.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more.
And so I would like to see them in the middle, so we've got that security, that little bit more ballast, we're more robust, and then we can let players like Maddison and Pritchard really go to town.
Express themselves a little more.
I'd like to see that, but he's not gone for it, so he obviously trusts them and expects that they're going to be able to do the business. But Brentford are no mugs away from home.
No,
I agree.
5 points away from home last month, which is 5 more than us.
I couldn't agree more about Tribal and Teti, and particularly Teti. I think, he's just a necessary evil for us when he's healthy. Obviously, I like Harrison Reed. He wants it. He's tenacious, but I just don't think he's the right fit for what we need at the moment.
He's no spoiler in the way that Teti is.
No, and we
too small.
The way we commit, the way we commit wing backs going forwards, you need a Teti, and we've got arguably a bit of a lightweight midfield. You need a Teti.
I think that's
because otherwise we get bullied. So I think that's important.
Did you see this article about? It's probably bullshit, but it's news to me without fire. And there was an article about there might have been a bit of a revolt amongst the players about being trained too hard. Do you think there's anything in that?
I tell you what, I reckon that's Rusty chucking his toys out the pram because he's not a part of it anymore.
I think it could be any number of players. It might even. Who knows who it is? But I think fair play to Pritchard. Came out in the press conference yesterday and said, "Yeah, we work hard, but we don't work anywhere near as hard as he used to at Tottenham under Pochettino."
Yeah.
Harrison Reed at Southampton under Pochettino.
Yeah. And he openly said they weren't fit enough last season.
No, quite right, and that was obvious. And Farker he came out in response to that and said, "Well, look. Apparently we're the second best performing team in the last 15 minutes. Yeah. Now obviously it doesn't really mean anything if you're 3-0 down, but what he meant by that is we're not conceding late goals. Whereas last season we were all the time.
And another great bit of news development is the further to them telling A Block in Barclay to sit down. Apparently they've now forcibly moved 50 fans.
That's ridiculous.
So I dread to think what the atmosphere is going to be like in the Barclay today. I think
they've gone about that completely the wrong way with the letters and everything. Talk about alienating an already fractious and impatient crowd with the results.
Exactly. The club, and it's just another sign of incompetence behind the scenes. Because you stop this, I don't know. The rumour is. Friend of friends say some fan was complaining, county council health and safety got involved and said you need to deal with this, so the club should have gone back to the county council and said ever so sorry, we'll put extra stewards on and make it happen. If you send everyone in that block a letter to say sit down, they're going to stand. Any idiot knows that. It's just been handled so poorly, and as you say, at a terrible time to incite more discontent in the fans.
If those Norwich fans could muster up the musicality to adapt some kind of killing in the name of chant by Rage Against the Machine, but I don't think that will happen.
No,
but that would have been
standing
awesome.
In the name of.
Fuck you all to tell me. That would be brilliant. That's actually great. Standing in the name of. I think they're a bit brighter, a bit more creative.
I just think we should all. Every last fan should just stand on their seat for the whole game.
Well, hopefully they'll give us reason to stand up, or at least be on the edge of our seats.
Okay, well, we should probably talk. Actually, one more thing I want to mention. Daniel Farke doesn't look like a guy who's under any kind of pressure regarding the stability of his job. Do you think that's fair to say? He's not under any pressure. He's not going to get sacked if he loses another 3-4 games and out the next 6. Can you see anything changing?
No, I think it's a package, isn't it? They brought Webber in, and he's Webber's man. So if something goes wrong with Farke, then ultimately Webber has to take responsibility for that as well.
Yeah.
And I do feel that they have total trust in both of them. And also, let's get it right. You were asking earlier on about transition. Well, we transitioning from a yo-yo club into a perennial championship club. I think what they're trying to do is transition into being a more sustainable club.
Yeah.
And that means that trying to make more out of our academy, and also trying to make sure that we don't waste money like we did prolifically for about 5 years.
Yeah.
Like we wasted so much money on not just on players, but on CEOs,
people
on coaches, managers, the lot. So
I mean, Yannick Wiltshire is, just sums up how much money we have wasted. Just him alone.
Yeah.
Okay, so prediction: what's going to happen? Are we going to win tonight?
Yes, we are.
Who's going to score? Oliveira owes us a performance.
He really owes us a
He's
goal.
been poor for a while now, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he'll score. I think Pritchard will get his first goal as well. I'm going 3-1.
That was the classic result we go for 2 seasons ago.
I'm going
we generally
3-1.
won every home game 3-1.
Yeah.
But I'd be interested to see where Sergi Canos plays.
He's on the bench.
He's on the bench.
He is on the bench.
Wow. Okay.
Because he was out for a few words with him. Because I think we could do with him at this stage.
Oh yeah.
Because we're totally lacking in wingers.
Totally.
Yeah. We sold last 18 months. We sold 4 wingers. Didn't replace any of them. So we sold Canos, we sold Brady, we sold Redders, and Jacob Murphy.
Yeah, true.
Didn't replace any of them.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that's a lie. We
Got Yannick
brought in
Wiltshire.
Yannick Wiltshire.
Who's awful.
Yeah. And
He does a job.
we're still getting punished with Pinto getting caught too high up the pitch and us getting done on the break with a man over.
Yannick Wiltshire
That's
is
still
someone you
happening.
bring on if you're losing a game and it's a bit of a stalemate situation. You just need someone to come on and cause havoc, or he's someone you're bringing on if you're winning 1-0 and you're camping your own box and you need someone to just sprint down the other end of the field. That's all he does. As far as a starting player for Norwich, I just don't think he's up to it. Anyway, look.
I must say, we're in the Rose on the bottom of Hall Road. It's a lovely pub. And it's very crafty. They do a lot of lovely craft beer. Support this boozer, okay?
Good one.
It is. It's a good one.
We gotta go.
We gotta go. We'll see you in a bit. Coop and Duck back at a rather dismal half-time. Carrow Road, we're 2-0 down against Brentford. We've been absolute gash.
Yeah, we have, and they totally deserve it, Brentford. I mean, they've cut us open far too easy. We're just bereft of ideas going forward. We had a small spell for a couple of minutes, but that was not like great forward play.
No, they had a couple of sort of goal line scrambles, didn't they?
Yeah, and from set pieces we looked like scoring, but to be fair, we should have been 2-0 down at that point anyway.
Yeah.
They scored. Their first goal was slightly unfortunate, fortuitous the way it happened, but the second goal, just terrible defending. I tell you what, Steeperman's absolutely shit.
Look how shabby our mascot looks. I mean, I don't know if you can see that.
No, you won't be able to see that.
Well, maybe you have to zoom it in. Honestly, it's indicative of our club at the moment.
Steeperman's shit. Watkins has been shit. I mean, he's got a lot of endeavour and he's been up for it, but he's so limited. As is Steeperman. I don't know who the winger is for Brentford, but he's got Steeperman's number. He's tearing him a new one every time he gets the ball on the wing.
Francis is shit. Reedy shouldn't be playing. Reedy's good, but Reedy shouldn't be playing. Tetty should. Have we not made any changes?
We have. Hanley's gone off.
Oh,
I
great.
think that's just because he's injured.
Yeah.
I don't think we've changed the formation or anything.
So we brought Zimmerman on.
Yeah.
Universal Soldier.
Look, the fact is, Frank's point is really resonating with me. His point about us not having any wingers, because we're not playing any wingers tonight. No natural wingers.
No.
And when you're playing technical players like Pritchard and in particular Maddison and Mario Vrancic.
Yeah.
If you're going to play those kind of players, you need pace around them so that you can run in behind. Because we've said for weeks, everything is in front of teams and everything's been in front of Brentford tonight. And if you're going to have technical players like that, you need pace.
Go on, son. Go on. Flashed across the box.
You need players who can run in behind, and that's exactly actually what Pritchard just did there. And his first touch was a bit heavy, took him a bit too wide.
He wants it.
But yeah, I mean, what we liken this performance to, and what it has been like watching Norwich for the past couple of months, but well, actually all season at home, really, it's like watching England.
Yeah.
Slow, predictable passing.
Yeah, don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
Confused.
no penetration.
Yeah.
Terrified of taking risks. You know, this performance reminds me of England versus Iceland, to be frank.
Well,
Frank MacInnes, that is.
I was saying to you, we had, there've been patches of the last few home games where you're like, wow, this is the worst football I've seen Norwich play at home in years.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And, I think Farke has to be held slightly accountable for it because the the starting 11 isn't drastically different. Yeah, we lost a load of fringe players like Whittaker and Lafferty who weren't playing anyway. As far as starting players from last season, we've really lost Jacob Murphy and Johnny Housen. Now, obviously, Johnny Housen is a massive miss. Jacob Murphy shouldn't have been as big a miss because we've got Josh, who's literally the same player.
Exactly the same player.
So, it shouldn't be this drastically different. And
we're just at sea. I just think we're at sea at the moment. I mean, and the other thing
we
is,
need a winger. We need some pace. I mean, Pinto's got pace, but Pinto's a bang average player. He's pacey going forward.
Of course he is.
But he's got and this very limited feet. Look at that first touch from him.
Terrible.
Awful.
And also, there's no character on the pitch. No one's talking. Everyone's got their head down. There's no leadership out there. That's another worry. And another thing, I mean, we've got Tribal, Tetty, and Josh on the bench. I mean, there's an argument to say all three of those players should have started this game.
Yeah.
So I think Farke has to be careful here because we're getting birched by Brentford at home. We're 2 down at half time. He's not made a tactical change.
His
made
job
an
is certainly
change.
not under threat.
Oh, no, of course it's not. But
the fact is,
of course it's not.
It's what Frank was saying about being a pub. But even if he lost 15 games on a spin, I just get the feeling with Webber he is far too stubborn and pig-headed to admit that he made a mistake with Farke. Not saying that he has yet. I mean,
no, I don't. Yeah, I'm not on the Farke out train at all.
I'm on a Farke and Webber out and Delia out.
Delia.
The lot.
Hey!
Oh my God.
Should have got under that.
Well, the final whistle hasn't even gone yet. So around the 86th minute mark, we've left early. First time ever.
First time we've ever walked out of a game early.
Yeah, through bad play. I left early at the Wednesday game.
But you had a game. Yeah, you had a gig. Yeah. But no.
First time I've ever done
here he come.
Yeah, I tell you what, I don't envy you boys having to sit through that every week.
Well, I know, and I was saying to Nigel, who sits next to us, poor Frank, this is the game he saw this year. Last year it was Brighton away, wasn't it?
5-0 away.
You probably jinxed it, boy.
But I had a good home record as well.
Yeah.
That was dire. That was really disappointing.
The thing is that everyone goes about this transition thing and Farke's, I'd understand if we were playing this new brand of football which was really exciting, but occasionally we got undone because it was all embryonic and we made a few mistakes. But I can't actually see what he's trying to do. I've no idea. I mean, it's so obvious. When we've got the ball, every time we're in possession, we're making such hard work of moving it forward by taking around 5 or 6 touches.
Yeah.
It's so predictable for Brentford to read it, and all they're doing is winning possession back, 1 touch bang, 1 touch, max 1 or 2 touch passing, and they're just cutting through us.
Yeah, we're absolute custard in the middle. The thing is, we don't have enough movement to break the lines. We've got players who want the ball. We've got 2 players or 3 players who want the ball, but we don't. If they don't have the ball, they don't want to make the run to get it into space and get in behind.
Yeah,
anybody.
well, it's funny.
So we're passing backwards, we're passing sideways, and we're just trying to set it up again. And there's such little width as well. So if you haven't got runners on behind, and if you're not playing a penetrating pass, then you've got to hope that you've got width to get in behind him and do it that way. And also, when we did have the ball out wide, our delivery was shit today.
Awful. Well, Stieperman's shit. Marley Watkins was shit.
We were super
Oliveira's super long.
We were incredible.
But it's interesting. Your point about us not having any wingers and selling all our wingers really resonated with me, because I totally agree. When you're playing a technical game and you're playing with players, string pullers like Pritchard and Maddison, and if you've got no pace and wingers who can get him behind, what's the point? If you've got a player like Maddison, you need pace around him.
Absolutely.
And we've got none of it. The only pace we've got is Pinto, who's extremely limited.
Yeah, and also he's having to do a 60-yard sprint each time.
Yeah.
And to be fair to him, he was trying. He was trying to get beyond, but he wasn't getting the ball quick enough. There was so much wrong with that performance, but I'm not faulting the players for their effort. But I think the way it was set up is completely... Well, I think the way it's set up, to be honest, is a real problem.
What's Farke doing?
He wants us to play through. He wants us to keep the ball, and with good enough movement, we'll pull people out of position and find the gaps. But the problem is, if you don't have that good movement, then it's easy for a team like Brentford or any team to park 9 behind the ball, and we'll just pass sideways and go backwards.
And it's not the Prem. Did we just score? The Championship model to be successful isn't that complicated. Obviously, it doesn't work when you get the promotion. But if you've got pace, power and size in your side, you'll do well.
Yeah.
You know, that guy, I don't know who their winger was, but he was tearing Stiepermann and you arsehole the entirety of the game. And it wasn't like he had great feet. He was just quick and a big boy.
It seems pretty straightforward for teams that play us at home. You park the bus and you hit us on the break, and it's easy to get through us on the break as well.
That second goal, they just played through us.
That was awful.
What was Mario Vrancic's miss like in it when he hit the bar? Shouldn't he have scored that?
I would have thought so. Isn't he left-footed as well? I thought he should have done better there. And there was a chance first half when I think it was Maddison was screaming for Oliveira to cut the ball back, and Oliveira tried to nail it on the front post from a really tight angle.
Yeah, and he didn't. There was also the Marley Watkins header, but to be fair to Brentford, they should have been probably 2-0 up by that stage.
So lads, the question is, I mean, obviously it's dark times, but are we capable of maintaining mid-table mediocrity, or do you think it's going to get really dire? Do you think it's going to get worrying?
I think we totally can, but we have to change the system. We have to.
Will he though?
He has to realise, surely, when you're playing a mid-table team, because these are the games that we're supposed to be winning. These are the points now where we're supposed to be picking them up, because they're teams around us and we've got our full squad back and all the rest of it, and it's not working. And that tonight, if Brentford can come and sit here and take a pretty easy 2-0 win, then every other team should be thinking that they can do the same thing.
Yeah, for sure. What really worried me tonight about Farke's management style, apart from everything, apart from that we set up all wrong, is that after that shocking first half performance, getting booed off, Paul Lambert would have made 2 changes at half time. Now, I know he had to make an enforced change because Hanley was injured and he brought on Zimmerman. But, wait until 65, 70 minutes before he makes the 2 changes. That he should have made at half time, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not dynamic management, and not, and also, and the other worrying thing about that is that when he did bring on Josh and Jamal, it made all difference anyway. We were still bullshit.
Put both of them on the same side, which I was a bit confused about, because Brentford could do us either side. Like when they hit us on the break, they could do us down the left or down the right. When he basically played both cards on the same side.
Yeah.
And it was so easy for them. It was so easy for them at points.
It's so congested in the middle of the park. It's like, fucking pull out, lads, please. Give us some width.
It was like our lack of structure meant that it felt like they could always just pass into space. For us, the pitch felt crowded. For them, they were just knocking it back into space.
Their second goal came from... It was a free kick in their half, and they played it quickly, and Mario Vrancic completely switched off. Let his man go. And after that, we were at sea.
Yeah.
And Hanley ended up diving in.
Yeah.
Which he'd done a couple of times. But you see, this is the thing for me. There is no reason. If you've got Pritchard and you've got Maddison, there is no reason to have Vrancic on the pitch at all. No. He played one decent ball in the first half, and the rest of it, there was nothing that he brought to the game.
But I'd have to say, that is one of his better performances for us.
Yeah.
Honestly, he is bullshit. Yeah, I don't know why he keeps on insisting on playing him. Get rid of him, put Tetty back in, put Tom Treble back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we need some pace. I mean,
yeah, we really do.
How many wingers have we got? We've got 2.
Yeah.
One extremely long confidence and one shit. So,
yeah.
All right, look.
I think Jamal Lewis can play left wing as well. But we obviously need him as a left back because we get done for pace down there as well.
Yeah.
So,
no, that's
but
just awful.
one thing I would say, Harrison Reed, I know he does this most of the time, but he worked his bollocks off.
He did work his bollocks off.
For very little reward and very little support around him.
He shouldn't be playing that role. He's such a technically gifted player. For me, at points he was getting muscle off the ball so easily. You know, even when he was trying his hardest, because he's half the size of these players he's going up against. He's not a spoiler.
And this is what
he's someone who should go along, who should play alongside Alex Tetty in a Doran's role.
Yeah. And this is what you've been saying all season, Ducks. Like we win no second balls.
No.
We really don't.
No, we don't.
And they're not even like Pritchard will challenge for a ball 50% of the time. So he knows he's not going to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he picks his battles, which I get. He plays the percentages game. But
oh man.
Yeah, there's zero balance in that side. Look, let's leave it because we're really depressed. Look, Merry Christmas from Coop and Duck. We're like
Merry Christmas one and all.
Thank Frank for coming on.
Definitely.
Feel gutted for him
for hosting.
The first time we've left before the end of a game. First time ever.
First time. The season ticket gold as well.
Yeah, let's get down, loser.
Let's get down, loser.
All right, Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas, all.
See you in the new year.